All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got Rogue, the genius Zerg. Inconsistency is his middle name, but dude, when he is switched on, he is one of the very best in the world, up against Team Liquid's CLEM, and a player where I would say the opposite is true. His level is so stable, he is so consistent. Yes, CLEM has off days like anyone does, but my gosh, he is consistency personified. He's rock solid. And I've actually seen a lot of complaints that he makes this matchup boring because he just wins it by doing the same thing over and over. I saw someone make a Reddit thread about this the other day. They're like, CLEM's boring. He does the same thing every time. He just works. This matchup's stupid. And I was like, you know, I don't really feel that when I watch other Terrans, but there are times when I watch what CLEM does and I go, oh, that shouldn't be fair. That's not possible. And like, no other Terran can do it. So you can't be like, well, we need to nerf that, right? But at the same time, it looks kind of disgusting when CLEM gets to just do what he does. Now, he's going to be playing the bottom right of Abyssal. Rogue's going to be playing the top left. And he's going to be going hatch, pool, hatch. 3 hatchery, gasless build. Now, the big problem players run into when they play this build against CLEM is his Reaper does a crazy amount of damage. Rogue's just checking for proxy racks. He's very weak to proxy racks. If he'd studied his opponent, he'd know that CLEM proxy racks is 1 in 39 matches of TvZ. Not even that, probably less. What do you guys think? I would say it's 1 in 100. Like, it's actually such a low percentage that CLEM will proxy barracks in this matchup. It's almost a complete non-issue. Now, rather than tripling up his workers on the far patches, Rogue is long-distance mining. This is something a lot of the modern players have started doing. It only makes sense when MaxPax does it, because MaxPax will actively speed micro these guys to make them mine faster. Rogue would have been better off just triple stacking on these 3 patches and then pulling them down only now. Slight inefficiency for him, but overall, a very greedy build order. It shouldn't make too much of a difference. Now, seeing the 3rd hatchery, CLEM can't block that, but at least he knows what he's up against. And really, you need to shut down the Reaper on that high ground. Now, extra Queens building. Next up, you need to build an Overlord here as Rogue. We should see an Overlord, perfectly timed. Beautiful, good build order. And of course, we expect to see a 3rd command center behind this for CLEM. Here's complete standard follow-up. Now, 6 Lings, good choice to make sure that Reaper can't get any damage done on the drones. I think you might think 6 Lings is a bit too much. Oh, nice snipe on one of them. But I think it's better to overcommit and really limit, oh, what he can do. Oh, the Reaper goes down! CLEM with a huge mistake. Huge mistake, guys. I was saying the whole problem is that Reaper does too much damage normally. Guess what? The Reaper's gone. Now you don't have to worry about that. Reaper bouncing around the main, circling, picking off units, distracting you, and allowing the Hellions to run in the front, which is such a common thing. He's also going for a 3rd command center on location. CLEM did pull this mule off. I think he might have pulled that off too early, maybe. Now, the reason you pull the mule off, guys, is if you don't pull it away, its last minerals, it'll take 25 minerals out of the patch, and then just before it gets back to the command center, it falls apart because its timed life runs out. So essentially, it removes 25 minerals from the map without you actually getting to harvest those minerals. And it's a very small optimization, but in the early game when there's not much else going on, and these guys, of course, are very big on early optimizations, you'll see guys like CLEM very consistently pull it away. Now, 2nd barracks goes down there. I like the 3rd on location because, hey, you don't have link speed, you can't be aggressive. And going up to the 2nd barracks, it's just a nice, consistent way to rush to the Marine and Stim stage of the game. Start getting drops bouncing around and see if you can find some openings. Rogue, of course, going Rotorant and a 2nd gas. For now, just 4 Queens and 5 Zerglings. Let's see if you can defend that 3rd base. Hellions don't really want to run past a Queen. They will take a lot of damage. See if he remembers to pull this mule off, guys. I'll show you what we're talking about for anyone who's never seen it. So, you see he's going to mine the last trip. I'm not sure if he actually even mined the 25 minerals. I think he did just barely finish mining the extra 25 minerals. But that is an issue. Alright, guys, we've got an Evo chamber coming up as well. Gonna block the Hellions from coming through. 2nd Evo as well. I don't think you really need that, but hey, why not? You're gonna need the 2nd Evo for upgrades eventually, so you're just building it a bit ahead of time is all. Starport comes down, double engineering bay. 3rd command center dropping those mules like mad. Now, my big question for Rogue in this game would be, do we commit to Roaches, Lurkers, Vipers, or are we going to be swapping into Lings? Because if we're going to swap into Zerglings, I actually prefer you skip range. Just go Carapace as early as possible and then add melee. And if you're only planning to build 15, at most 20 Roaches all game, I think it's just more worthwhile to get the melee upgrade started early. And that's something Cyril does if he feels he can get away without too much fighting in the mid game. But if you think you're going to be stuck, making a lot of roaches for a long time, +1 range is the favored upgrade. Now, of course, up to 3 bases, essentially full of minerals, but just slightly under. And look at that, double spore on the natural. I actually love this. I love that choice. That's so cool because we know the double drop's about to move out. Don't know if he's actually spotted that. Let's see, what did the Overlord see, guys? Ah, he saw the second barracks, the barracks already making stim. I mean, he doesn't know that this is the case, but he has 12 roaches, so he's very well prepared in case it is this build order. 63 workers for Rogue as he moves out to take a 4th hatchery, and he is going 1/1 range upgrade. So I think Rogue might be full committing to the lurker style here. Guys, do me a favor. Whenever people ask, is this live? We're going to have that about 500 times today. Please just type ! best games, you know, explain to them or explain to them. No. Type ! bracket if you want to link up exactly where the games are from. I am still incredibly impressed that people every day come into this stream asking, is this live on a stream that's titled The Best Games of StarCraft? But, you know, reading's hard. Dude, this is huge damage. Where's the rest of the units? Where were these roaches, man? Dude, I just assumed the other roaches were going to arrive. Where were they? What did he do? Okay, guys, I gotta rewind this game a bit later. Go back to the 6-minute mark because I was like, he's got plenty of roaches, and they were just all the way out here for some reason. I guess trying to defend this hatchery, take the rocks down because his roaches can't fit through there. So the problem, yeah, he walled himself out, and then by taking that 4th hatchery, which is a better 4th hatchery than this one on the ledge, but he made it really hard to defend, and that's crazy damage. 8 drones, 7 roaches, 6 eggs. I mean, it's not the end of the world. You look at the units lost tab, you're like, oh, it doesn't look too bad, but remember, Rogue's stuck right now worker-wise. He's going Hive, Hydra Den's coming in as well, so he's going to transition into that lurker style. He's going to be able to defend right now. Roaches. Okay, should be plenty of roaches to defend this time around. I like the spore on that left side as well. Really good spore placement in this game. I actually really love the spore crawler down here as well, guys. So your opponent will be flying in with a drop and go, what the hell? Why is there a spore out here? Anytime I can get a spore on the edge of the map, I love it. You're going to be 300 IQ. You drop Overlord creep here. You build a spore crawler right there. You go, yeah. Purely for the shock factor. Not good at this level of play, but good versus normies. Roach Ravager massing up. Clem's supply is dangerously close, though. 4th command and it's only just started. He's on 8 racks. Dude, Clem has been 8-raxing a lot lately. Really mixing in a lot more aggressive play. And I don't know, man. Rogue supply way too close. He's not quite got the Vipers or the +2 carapace just yet. So even though he's ahead on upgrades, he's on the Hive tech, which means he's kind of ahead on the Viper tech. It's not like he's got the numbers here just yet. He doesn't have the tech here. The Marine Marauder out front. Ravagers try to bile, and they only land a single bile on that siege tank. And Rogue, after taking that early damage, just could not quite defend it. What the hell? Let's go back to that 6-minute mark and check what was happening with those roaches. I think he just kind of was overthinking defending the 4th base, like I said. So let's take a look here one more time. Okay, so Hellions are there. You've got your roaches. Drone was at the wrong base, so he was kind of thinking about where to expand for a bit. It does delay him picking up, which is great. And then Clem just unloads outside and just walks in. The Hellions kind of run in, and Rogue splits way too many roaches to that side. 6 roaches, which means he's only got 6 roaches on the left. He should immediately pull those home. But even if he A-moves them home, which he still hasn't done, by the way, or maybe he has now. He has. So I have these roaches selected, guys. You can see they have an attack move order here. See, I don't see that if I click on another unit. So he's actually A-moved them to the left, but these Hellions are kiting them away. So Rogue thought, oh yeah, they'll clean up the Hellions and come over there. Because the Hellions pulled back, they waste so much time cleaning up the Hellions. And all of his extra roaches are only now popping out, right? So they're just popping out of the eggs. So he does take a lot more damage than he really wanted to. And this slows down the Hive. Slows down him getting ready for the next step because he's busy just recovering here. Infestation's done. If he already had a Hive started, he maybe could have had Vipers ready for the first push. If he has Vipers to abduct or Blinding Cloud the siege tanks, it's a totally different game. But great 8-racks for Clem behind this. Really simple timing attack and just takes the fight to Rogue from the start. All right, guys, we got Clem in the bottom right side of the map. That was an easy game. Decisive game. 3cc loses his Reaper. Rogue has a free pass through the early game. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. He walled himself off, didn't gather his roaches, and things fell apart rather rapidly there. And that 2-1-1 off the 3cc is diabolical, man. I've been saying for a while, this build is... It's a nightmare to deal with, especially when you do these gasless builds. Because I think the Roach Queen, when well positioned, can deal with Hellion Banshee really well. It can deal with Hellion Lib. But because Zergs have just lost all faith in their ability to actually kill a Terran player, like Clem, he doesn't need to go Banshees because he can defend everything with a 2-1-1 anyway. Like the 3 command center, it feels like Clem is impervious to any cheese. And because of that, it doesn't feel like he has to play an early build order mind game. He just picks whichever build he feels like will win better. Whereas it feels like in TvP, I mean, he does this in TvP as well, to be fair, a lot of the time, right? Where it doesn't, I mean, in TvP, it feels like when he's playing max specs, there's a bit more pressure on him to pick a good build order. But this is the weird thing about Clem, is he's just so very good that he gets away with things other players didn't. And this was like a Maru-specific trait for many years, where Maru used to get caught by a build that should kill him and just hang on with incredible micro and defensive prowess, right? A number of times he'd survive against some Ravager Ling Rush that would kill any other player. And it was like, wow, just play like Maru was the meme for many years. And I feel like Clem's taken that to a whole nother level. Because, you know, Maru looked like he was almost dead in some of those games, and he'd have to always make comebacks. Maru, did he just attack his own barracks? Yes, he attacked his own barracks. But, you know, Maru would have to make these comebacks. Maru would take damage and then fight back from it and all sorts of stuff. Now, Rogue is going once again fast third attribute, this time with gas. This is an old school build order where you delay your queen in your main. I think he just doesn't want to give Clem a chance to block his base with the SCV. Rogue has had troubles with that in the past. A lot of players have. And if he's got an SCV and a Reaper, it's so hard to get a third. So this is a smart adjustment for Rogue to specifically deal with the frustrating parts of Clem's early game. Reaper picking away. One Zergling does go down yet again. Yeah, so I guess the thing you have to do is ideally players could find a way to scare Clem to do a gamble, and it's fascinating that those are not working much against him. He's just hit such a level of speed in the game, skill, execution. It's not like he's impervious to those attacks. He just has such a high win percentage against them that players feel like even if things line up, they get lucky it works, everything goes right, they maybe have a 30% chance of actually beating him because his micro is so good. And they're like, well, that doesn't seem like a good win percent, man. Everything goes right about 10% of the time. And then within that 10%, only 30% does it work. You're like, do I have a 3% win chance with this strategy? Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna pick that. Rogue, though, is a genius. And Rogue, as much as he will be frail in a multitasking heavy game, if Clem gets the action and momentum going, that's where Rogue will not be able to hold up. But if Rogue can just find a way to get a bit of an advantage, he's one of the best players at leaning all of his chips into a all-in that the opponent's never dealt with before. Or they've dealt with something, but not quite like that. I mean, as soon as he came back from the military, Rogue immediately repopularized the Nidus Roach all-in, right? Roach Ravager 1-1 on the front, Nidus Worm in the back door. This is actually a great map for that build as well, but it is a Ling Speed build to start off. Clem's once again going 2-on-1. Exact same build order. He feels very little pressure to adapt. This is what we call winner's privilege, guys. If you're already winning, you really don't feel like you need to change things. And I say that's what we call... I just made that name up just then, I'll be honest. But it seems like a good name, right? Maybe you guys have a better name you can suggest in the comments. But I do think it's like a winner's privilege. You can basically say, I don't need to change it until you show you can beat this. And since, yeah, Rogue did crumble to it in game 1, he's going to do it again. Now, this time it's not a Roach build, and I do think Ling builds deal with this a bit better than Roach builds, the 2-on-1, because they can kind of swarm over it and then stop it from unloading again anywhere nearby. Lair starts up, 440. That's a quick lair, so we should expect a second gas and a Baneling Nest next, guys. I'm still waiting for the day when a pro player starts playing my Ling Infesta build at pro level. Cyril did it a few times a few years ago and hasn't used it since. It's inconsistent, which is why I don't think we'll see Cyril use it in a big tournament unless he really is pressured to, but I'm not saying he copied it from me, by the way, either. He was toying with it on stream because some viewers had challenged him to do it, and then he Did it a few more times, and I had a bit of a chat to him about what's really good about it and what advantages it gives that aren't obvious unless you've played it many, many times. And he was like, yeah, maybe there's some potential there. He was a little bit more, I would say, reserved than when we showed him the 15-15, and he was actually a bit more excited about that and was like, this actually shows a lot of promise. Obviously, we saw what Cyril did with that. But for this game, it is Rogue going the early Baneling speed. This delays your 1-1 upgrades a lot. But because he's got quick triple gas, he should be able to go... Spire! Dude, he's going mutts. Rogue has said, screw being on the back foot dealing with your drops. It is a nightmare. If I can manage to get Mutalisks up, I'll be good. Now, a lot of Zerglings are building along with the Queens to help defend. He's already opened up 1 mineral patch. You do want to open up more here. 4th hatchery top left, 5th hatchery down here. 2 drones gets cleaned up instantly. Zerglings, though, quick response force is there. And, okay, Transfuse comes down just in time. Hellions on the top side, not going to do too much. Rogue, one mistake I've noticed from him is he will send his whole army from one side to the other. I think he should have not worried so much about those Hellions and stayed on top of the Medivacs and then just split a few Lings or Queens to the north to defend. But gets a good surround, pushes it back. Double Evo Chambers coming in. 1-1 upgrade's already halfway done here, while Rogue's, his 1-1 should just now be starting as his Spire's almost finished. 4th and 5th barracks coming up as well. Tanks, Marines are pumping. 2nd factory at the 3rd base. And of course, Clem has no idea that he's playing against a Spire, guys. Now, that 1-1 upgrade still hasn't started, which tells me Rogue looks like he wants to go as many Mutalisks as possible and then build the 1-1 upgrades. Lings get themselves a Marine. Actually, no, they don't. Never mind. I think it was just a Zergling that died there. 10 mutas to start. All right, 10 mutas to start for Rogue. They're going to be a surprise. 4th command center for Clem building on location on those gold minerals. Minerals the most important thing for a Terran player. He's building a reactor on his 2nd factory. Armory goes up in the main base. It's not on time to immediately start 2-2, but he will be able to maintain a pretty massive upgrade advantage. Rogue with a changeling in the middle of the map will glimpse this army as well as the watchtower. He's got a lot of Lings down south. Could be counter-attacking as well. Which side do you want to push here as Clem? Looks like he's going to push the south side. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'd love to see him open the minerals, but maybe a bit worried about that, giving more freedom of movement to the Zerg. 1-1 upgrades are here. Mutalisk sliding down the bottom side of the map. It's 45 Zerglings, 8 Banelings. 8 more Banelings are morphing. This base has to be given up. Rogue still has 4 bases behind it, and the Mutalisks swing in, finding Clem drastically off guard, unprepared, and the Mutalisks are going to even delay that command center from coming up. Tank Marine, though, in a really good position. Clem's going to keep committing to the attack. Remember, guys, Clem's instincts kick in these high-pressure moments, and that is to attack. Whoa! Banelings connect with the Marines. Gets 5 or 6 Marines already with the first few Banelings. Mutalisks find a siege tank at home. Great micro. Grabs himself a Marine as well. Rogue in his element now because he's able to dictate what's happening. Defending against Clem, purely being on the defensive, is one of the nastiest, most handicapped feelings in the world. But if you can have some momentum, move around, force him to react to you, it does remove a little bit of that godlike, unstoppable aura that he is known for. Mutalisks find themselves even more SCVs. 4th base still not building. Widowmines could be targeted, but just going to grab a few more SCVs as he rotates. Rogue does not have a 5th base up, and his 4th is not mining that heavily. He's only on 68 drones. You can tell Rogue's very busy with the APM right now, but guess what? He's distracted Clem so much the 4th command center is still not building, but here we go. A Marine trap comes in. Gets a Mutalisk, almost gets a 2nd one, not quite, but here we go. 3rd prong of the Marine trap, and the Mutas barely get out. Great reaction speed. 4th command center is finally rebuilding. Guess what he forgot, guys? 2-2. 2-2 has not started for Clem, which means the upgrade advantage disappears. The surprise Mutalisks have done their work. Now, Rogue has not built himself an economic advantage, or at least not a sizable one. He's only just droned to 76 workers now. He's also got almost no creep in the south. He's just respreading it. He needs to stay active, and he needs to smash this wall with Lingbane. You don't want to fight front on into Clem. You want to keep active with your Mutalisks, rotate around, get the Lingbane counterattacks to keep hitting this wall off, and hit multiple angles, and then reclaim this area. Open these minerals up with drones, spread the creep down the south as well as the north at the same time, and make sure that Clem doesn't have an easy push angle on this side. You can see Rogue setting up for it now. Burrow, 78 workers. And you might wonder, why isn't he going to 90 drones? He has map control. The reason is he wants more army. Against Clem, if you go too heavy on drones, you don't have enough army. He can cause you big, big problems. Both Overseers get sniped. Muta's going to fly in nonetheless. Without the Overseers, though, Widow Mines will not be spotted. 4 SCVs and a turret, not bad. Clicking the command center. Trying to take out the refinery as well. Any little pickoffs he can get are good value. 2-2's finally started for the Terran, about 30 seconds ahead of the 2-2 of Rogue. Rogue's Mutalisk going to try and get away there. He's got to get away before the Marines close the trap. Oh, gosh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 Mutalisks go down. It's a total of 6 in this game. That's expensive, mate. That's very expensive. He does replace most of them. +2 flyer attacks on the way. Infestation pit coming in so we can go for Hive. I think Ultras will be the name of the day. Ultra's pretty good versus Mines, and they're just a very good, easy unit to use with a big mobile force. Now, surprisingly, even though he went Burrow, he didn't really burrow any Banelings anywhere. Cancels his hatchery up north. Lings are going to set off that front. Widowmine. The Baneling's going to go in, but it's in isolation. Nothing else happening at the same time. Just gets himself a few depots, few SCVs. Doesn't really cause much of a ruckus. Rogue still on the defensive. I'm worried for Rogue that he's letting this game go too long. Late game, Clem should be favored against Rogue. Right now, they're still in the late stages of the mid game, right? Yeah, you're on 4 base, but we don't have Drilling Claws just yet. We don't have 3-3. You know, it's still a lot of mid armies. Oh gosh, Widowmine, double tank snipe. Oh no! Okay, he does go back for the tank, but loses 2 or 3 extra mutas for it. Very expensive trade there for Rogue at the final end, but overall a good trade for him. How many Thors we got? 2 Thors, 10 Mines, 2 Marauders, 61 Marines. One has to question where the Marauders are. He's only now getting the tech labs. Oh, Clem's very late on the tech labs, which means his army is very Marine heavy. 62 Marines, high damage, very fragile though. If he goes deep on creep, he'll get hammered. If you have 10 Marauders on your front line spread with Widow Mines, really hard for Zerg to engage. Banelings try to roll in, not very effective. Ling Bane tries to counterattack, also not very effective. And he's borrowed 2 Zerglings there. They're just meant to be spotting Zerglings. He's only meant to have 1 there, but he accidentally must have misclicked it and done 2. And you can see, perving from underground, guys. Just looking up the pants of those Terran as they march out there. Very creepy. Marines coming forward as well. Banelings rolling in. Oh my gosh. A lot of Marines get taken down. Ling Bane rolls forward. Ling Bane rolls forward. Widowmines here. Hello. Struggling. Oh, the Widowmine's not really landing the big hits, but the Marines pull back and gun down a lot of those Ling Bane. Mutas, though, take out the Widowmines. Units lost tab 2,000 in favor of Clem. This Widowmine on this left side being a bit of a nuisance. Funny that Clem's the one who's opening this gap up. I thought it would be the other way around. How many orbitals? 5 orbitals. So there is a bit of extra mining available as Clem secures a planetary on the south side. He's got a lot of Marines there. That planetary gets up, he can definitely hold on. He's going for a Ghost Academy Fusion Core. +3 weapons. He did not start +3 armor. 3-3 is not too far behind for Zerg. Adrenal Glands did not get made. Mutas fly in. They set a Sensor Tower on fire, but the SCV is quick to repair, and the Widowmine takes one out. Ling Bane rolling in. Planetary is going to get boomed. Ooh, good lift. I think that's a good choice for Clem. Because rebuilding command centers takes a long time, and that's the real expense. Banelings in the north found a bunch of Marines and inadvertently took down the rocks at the same time. Command center gets cancelled there. Mutas with the counterattack get pushed back by the Thors, and units lost tab still. About 2,000 in favor of Clem, which is actually good for Rogue. As long as Rogue, he's going to start taking the top side. He needs to start mining out these bases of Clem's. Mauling Bane rolling in right now, but he runs away. Very cautious is Rogue. And look at that. Oh, he heals his wall off with supply drops. He's going to also wall off with 2 turrets and a sensor tower. Odd choice to put turrets in the wall off, but guess it is what it is. Zergling's going to go for the sensor tower there as well. Remember, sensor tower is not as high value a structure as they used to be, much cheaper. They also have a smaller radius than they used to, but they're way cheaper than what they were. No Adrenal Glands still on the way. Chitinous Plating's coming in for those Ultras. Armor for the Mutalisks. Banelings rolling through. And these are double value depots, right? You know, you're taking down double the supply. As well as a bit of that potential mule energy that could have been used. Medevac gets sniped by the Mutas. Mutas still being active. They get themselves a single turret. But he's lost 16 Mutalisks in this game. That's stacking up in terms of value lost. The Mutalisks are now more of a defensive force than anything, as he's maxing on Ultras, Lings, and Banes. Clem has established a 5-base setup. He's building an extra orbital down here at some point in the near future. He's making armor plating for his Thors and Libs and Medevacs. And it does feel like he's really pushing forward into the late game where he's going to have so much practice against Zerg. Now, to be fair, Ultraling Bane's still a fast army. It could catch you out of position with no Infestors. No Fungal that could catch the units. No Neural to turn the Thors on his side. It doesn't feel like there's any of the really big tools. But Clem's forgotten +3 armor. He's got 2 starports. He's building a 3rd one now. Where is that building, guys? Just up here in the natural. So the Lib transition is underway. And one of the big things I've talked about is how Zergs just refuse to build Corruptors in late game to deal with Liberators. And I think Rogue might be the one guy who's just going to go, of course they build Corruptors, right? I've been talking about this a lot, how in late game Corrupt is the highest value anti-air to deal with libs you can get, as well as drops. Oh, nice Ultra Bane roll in. Grabs a few SCVs. Oh, wait. He ran some Banelings away from the planetary. Oh, no, Rogue. He was being too greedy. If he clicked all the Banelings on the planetary, I think he gets that, guys. But he gets a bit greedy, loses the Ultras and the Banes, only kills 11 SCVs, doesn't get the planetary. It's going to get repaired back up. Mutalisks in the north do get a bit of damage, but dude, that was an expensive trade. Rogue now down 6,000 resources in the units lost. And Clem. Oh, the gall on this kid. Dude, he just floated a command center next to the Zerg main base. This is an insulting command center. Rogue, if this doesn't get you riled up, then I don't know what will, mate. He's being a bit of a D-bag. Now, he's also killing his own Marauder. I don't think that was on purpose. Maybe it was. I think he queued up a new Liberator there. No, he didn't. Just accidentally A-moved his own Marauder. Queues up a few more advanced ballistics and +2 vehicle plating coming in. The Ultra Bane is like, what the heck? How dare you? Uh-oh. Ultraling Bane overcommitting, though. Way overcommitting. Gonna take out a Thor. A couple of bio units. It's a good trade, I'm pretty sure, for Clem. From a counterattack, Libs are gonna have to defend here, and they should be able to. Ultras pull back, Lings go forward. Lings going to run into that base and cause as much havoc as they can. Clicking on the command center, though, a bit of a misclick, I think. I'd rather go hide these in the corner of the base. So he's going to hide some Zerglings around the main, try and force some scans out. Nice moves there for Rogue. Rogue tried to do a poo with the Overlord on that base. Only delays it for a second, though. Ultra comes down. It's going to get sniped. That Ultra getting popped. More Ultra Bane Muta coming in. An accidental Swarmos being built. Oh, Lib Bio getting caught here by the Ultra Bane. Mutas. Oh, the Banelings trying to get on top. The Marauders trying to pull back. The Thor's trying to pull back. The Lib's a little slow to siege. Clem caught a bit off guard. And actually, the Mutas are cleaning the Libs up. Finally? No, they all got shot down by turrets. The Libs are still there. The Marines and Marauders mostly gone. The Planetary on the ground with the mass repairs should be able to hold on here. And I think this is an excellent fight for Clem, guys. It looks like it is an excellent fight for Clem at the end of the day. Is it, though? Is it, though? Wait, command center might die. Overall units lost, it is. But Clem, oh my gosh, almost losing that base. And Clem doesn't have a crazy bank. Rogue did have map control for a long time. He can afford a few more trades. That's a good counter. Lings on the gold, come in, grab 1 or 2 more SCVs, distract him. A few drones do get caught there. Planetary slowly getting repaired as it starts to erect itself little by little. Few SCVs are healing that up. Now, 3 Marauders, 29 Marines, 3 Ghosts. He needs more Marauders, more Ghosts. Marine count maybe not as important, but look at this. I like the way Rogue's staying active with his Zerglings right now, really causing problems. And you know what, guys? He built Corruptors. He built Corruptors for the Libs. It's such an important thing to build. Ultraling Bane Corruptor, my favorite late game against Zerg. Against Terran, if you add Spellcasters to this, I do think it becomes an exceptional comp, but it's much harder to use with Spellcasters. They kind of slow down your movement. Ultraling Bane, though, very mobile. It can kind of swing in, use the numbers advantage in positions where your opponent isn't quite ready for it, and sometimes you can get a big sandwich. I'd actually love to see Rogue sandwich this army from both sides. We'll see how he does it. For now, it looks like he's just coming front on. He's got 44 Banelings. That is a lot of Banelings. The Medivacs are getting hammered. The Banes and the Ultras are just going to roll over it. The Libs are getting taken down by the Corruptors, not especially quickly, though. And there's a Planetary. He's rolling into a choke point against the Planetary, but he gets through there quickly. The speed of this Ultraling Bane army is really quite very powerful. And that insulting Planetary Fortress on the low ground goes down. You know what, guys? Clem's so focused on the bottom, he's letting Rogue get away with the top right. Rogue hasn't transferred workers. That's not something he's added to his game just yet, but it is something where mining that top right, slowly transferring workers is going to help him out in the long run. Corruptors trying to take out the Libs. The Libs starting to go down. The turret's doing a lot of work, though. Planetary gets blown up. There was enough Ultra Baneling to even kill the Planetary. That is crazy. The Corruptors coming in. This was Rogue's last-ditch attack before he spent his entire bank. If he didn't kill this base, he was screwed. But because he kills that base and this one, he's actually in a good spot. Look at the income. There's no minerals. This base is lifted off. He's trying to move it over to this one. Rogue right now is down 30 army supply, but he's got a massive income advantage, and that is the real thing. Liberator gets caught here. Liberator gets caught, taken down. Liberator over here. Spores are going to move to respond. Rogue handling this pretty well. He does lose this gold. Mules are trying to drop. There's only 26 workers left, though, and that's a huge problem for Clem. Liberator getting caught by the Spores. Double Spore takes out another Liberator. And right now, Clem has the army advantage, but it's hard to force a fight against Ultraling Bane, Corruptor, and Creep. And remember, every time you lose, Liberators, Medivacs, these are expensive units. Normally, in a lot of fights, Terran tends to lose very cheap units. Oh, I lost a few Marines, I lost a few Marauders, but it's the Medivacs and the Libs going down to Corruptors that's going to cost him in the long term. Masslings trying to surround there, Widowbites trying to level the army, Banelings are there, Ultras on top, the Ghost gets surrounded, and Rogue overwhelms with Ultraling Bane, constant counterattacks, and the Corruptors the special sauce on top of the cake to take down the Liberator transition from CLEM. All right, guys, we got Rogue in the top right side of the map, CLEM in the bottom left side of the map, and it is game 3 on Ultra Love. I think this map's good for CLEM. Obviously not as good as last season's map pool, which is heinous the right word? Zerg players, guys, don't hate on the Zergs. I'm giving you a free pass for a moment. Please let me know a word in the comments that you would use to describe last season's map pool for Zerg versus Terran. I'm gonna go with heinous for myself. It was obscene by the end of last season, which went for way too long because Blizzard doesn't update their game very much anymore. We've got to, get the internet. It was, whoo, there was some yikes going on playing last season's map. By the end of the season, once everyone had figured out how the map pool went, it was not a fun experience. So, I mean, this map's still far better than that, but it's got some good choke points on it. It's got good ledges, really nice tank spots. And lots of areas where Terran can micro across these bridges and use all that area. We got a few words from Twitch chat, those watching live. This is 2rax Reaper, by the way. Unconscionable, catastrophic, PP poo-poo. I like PP poo-poo from Milky. I think that's a good description of that map pool. It was a travesty. And Wing Zero Type's my other favorite from Twitch chat, which is, in quotation marks, totally, completely balanced. Why is Big Megas think about this? Because I mentioned that this map's probably good for CLEM more than Rogue, and then I kind of wanted to put that in the context of, a few months ago we'd be saying, oh, this map's amazing for Rogue. This is so much better than Crimson Court, or the 8rax Alcyon Kingdom, Dynasty, or Dynasty, as I know a lot of you guys in America pronounce it, Dynasty, which is funny because that's exactly what Zergs would do on that map. They would die nasty. Now, to be fair, even later on in that map pool, Shin, Dark were finding ways to win on it, right? And at a reasonably high percentage as well, beating pretty much every Terran that wasn't CLEM. Yeah, it's kind of cool, man. Overlord does poke in there for Rogue. 2rax, which means the expansion is, of course, a bit delayed. Hasn't done too much damage. The question is, how do you get your third going? Because you have not started Ling Speed, my friend. And that can be a problem. It's only 3 Reapers, and he's going Reactor Tech Lab, 3rd Command Center behind it. Nice little rotate there on the Reapers. They're up and they're down, they're in and they're out. Could have squeezed a drone out at that moment. I think that would have been a good time to squeeze a drone out, because I like the 4 Queen, and the holding the drone key down is the most important part, which you can see, yeah, Rogue's Lava getting used up pretty consistently. He should be building 2 Overlords now, though. Don't chuck a Dark. The Reaper pressure, don't let it get to you. He's going to play 2 base Muta. He's playing 2 base Muta, ladies and gentlemen. Rogue, I love it. I love 2 base Muta as a response to this. He says, it's going to be hard to get a 3rd, but he doesn't know when Ling Speed started, so I'm just not going to make Ling Speed. I'm going to go Lair, and we're going to go straight for 2 base Muta. Now, you do need usually a 2nd gas, but because he hasn't even made Ling Speed, he can actually afford a Spire already. And he's just focusing on maximizing his mineral income on 2 base to make up for the delayed 3rd. This is like, if you get stuck on 2 base, guys, make sure you overflow those mineral lines to 18 workers on minerals as quickly as possible. 18, 19. No, no! 2 base Roach! Don't, no, Rogue, what? Okay, I take back everything about loving what Rogue's doing, guys. 2 base Roach. If it was a 15-15 build, I could get behind it, because a 15-15 would have saturated this natural line 20 seconds earlier than what he's done. But he didn't open 15-15. This was a hatch gas pool. And he's just going to play 2 base Muta. 2 base Roach, sorry. I mean, it's not, you can still play this with a very slow 3rd. Problem is, you're never going to break him with a push. So he's just not going to respect you. He built a bunker, which is the most respect you're going to get out of CLEM in this game. He's going to go Banshee behind this. No, he's going to build a tank. As he saw the Roach Horn, didn't he? Actually, he didn't see the Roach Horn. He's checking for corner bases. He's like, why is there still no 3rd? Sees the lair. He knows the lair is finished. It's Carapace, Roach Speed. You got to get out to take a 3rd now. You can't delay any longer, Rogue. There is no way a 2 base Roach push will break CLEM. CLEM knows what's happening. He's aware. Your Overseer sees tank production. And at this point, you have to realize it's not going to work. Go take a 3rd. Drone up right now. And if you drone up, the fact that he's building tanks and bunkers means you could get ahead in the long run. Reaper's jumping into the main. Roaches and Lings are there. 1 Reaper goes down. 2nd one will also try to circle into that main base. Overlord speed and a German... He's going to commit. Rogue's going all in. Rogue is going all, but then he's also going for drones right now. Okay, he's going to do a roach drop to harass or a ling drop to harass. And he's actually not going all in. He's droning. He's already committed to a lot of roaches. Okay, I want to see a 4th hatchery, creep spread, aggressive development of his strategy from here. But is he already going for the queen drop? Oh, he's going to go drop creep. It's a creep drop build. Okay, okay, cute, cute. As long as he drones and spreads creep behind it, it's okay. He's got to be aggressive on the economy, though. That's the front where he's going to be losing, because Rogue's only up 5 workers. And Clem's going to move out to take the 3rd, which is insane right now, but Clem is a crazy person who has no fear, so, fair enough. He does not fear the Zerg. Fear the Zerg, man. Oh, he's massing Ravager on the front. Wow, and we're building more roaches. Rogue sees the command center move out, I think, and he's like, you know what? I mean, he can't break the ramp. You have to wait for him to move down. You have to play this like a contain. You cannot push that. Drops all the bios on one spot. Okay, Rogue's got to be careful. He's clearly using rapid fire. There's a big criticism I have of players Ravager micro in the last couple of years, guys. People are so reliant on rapid firing their bios. They stack them too closely. Against Marines, you want to spread them out. Even there, see, two on the same spot. It's good to rapid fire when you've got like 50 Ravagers, but in this scenario, you want to be a little more cautious with it. Now, where's the creep, guys? Do you spread creep down there? Nice. This creep got cleared up, but as long as he keeps spreading creep everywhere, he can drone. But he's not droning. Oh, he's going all in. Rogue's going all in. Wow, this is not what you would expect. But I mean, Clem's playing pretty safe. His tanks are crawling out little by little. Marines in front. Ravagers starting to go down. Oh, nice focus on the Ravagers. SCVs can tank as well. The SCVs are tanking. Bad push angle for Rogue. Bad push angle. He just got hammered. He just lost 7 roaches, 3 Ravagers for a handful of Marines, 2 or 3 SCVs. Not a good trade for him at all. Rogue really should be using this to transition. I feel like if he was just dropping creep, threatening, and droning up, it could have worked out. But Clem securing the early 3rd, now up 5 workers, and he's in a good position. +2 carapace is coming in, which is nice for Rogue. Can't afford the +1 range. He doesn't have enough gas. He's going Hive. So he really wants to play the Lurker Viper. I actually think Infestors would be the better play here against Clem. Because when he moves forward, you just need to trap the Marines. If you can land a double fungal on the Marines while your Roach Ravager engages as the tanks aren't sieged, that ambush potential would be massive. But Rogue just doesn't have the gas for it right now. He's going to try and swap into Ling Bane. Ooh, off this economy? In this economy? Oh, man. Oh, this is like, I don't know, man. Your crypto went up, you're buying a home loan, buying a $500,000 car before actually cashing the crypto out. They're going, no, it can only go up. It'll never go down. My Trump coin's going to the moon. It's going to be great. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think you should. They're like, look, I've made $1 million off it. Let's going to keep going. I don't know. 63 worker economy. Going Ling Bane is not very affordable. Ling Bane's a very expensive army. If Rogue can go up to 75 workers, 80 workers, then pump, I think he might be okay. I love the creep on the front. Like, this gives him map control, but he's not getting enough economy behind it. And now Clem's realizing, well, you're not committed anymore. Let's go for the counter. Droning just to 70 now at 8.5 minutes. It's going to take a while for that to pay off. Marine counterattack, starting to clean up the Overlords. Rogue has good creep in the center, but his creep hasn't spread to the corners just yet. His whole army gets pulled back, and that's a problem. Because he's going to unsiege and move forward. Clem can go clear the creep in the middle and start sieging up across those bridges if he wants to. He's not doing it just yet. But the whole army got pulled back, so he definitely could take advantage. Nice pickup to get out. Loses a few Marines, but that's okay. Rogue goes for the Hail Mary Biles, and actually, oh, gets a Marine, but the medevacs barely dodge. Ultra Cavern Viper's on the way. +1 range coming in. No melee upgrades started just yet. Rogue still struggling for cash. Only 66 workers in this game, and I love the way he's put Clem on the defensive, but no real fear of death at all in this game for Clem. Clem is just so solid, and a lot of these cheeky attacks not working out so well now. Marines running forward. Single Viper's about to hit the field. +1 range is good because he's got so many Roaches and Ravagers. He needs the range upgrade, but definitely needs melee after that. Marine still threatening. Clem is on still no 4th up on location just yet. It's floating out as we speak. Quite a few Marines go down, but plenty of Zerglings as well. Overall, the trades have been great. 32 Marines for 33 Zerglings, 7 Roaches, 3 Ravagers, 2 Queens, a few drones and Overlords. 4th command center lands, and that 2-2 upgrade's almost done for Clem. Plus, the +2 carapace was very early for Rogue. He hasn't started +3 carapace just yet. He's only now starting melee, which means his units will be lacking damage, especially the Zerglings and Banelings that he's transferring to. 74 workers is up. I mean, Rogue right now, he's back to a decent income, but notice his bank. Equal supply with Terran, No bank? That's terrible. You're on Roach Ravager. Clem has he has so much money to burn. And he's got the Marine drop, the big triple drop, still just forcing good trades. Picking off Lings, Overseers, Banelings, wherever he can. And just picking up whenever anything looks even a little problematic. The Viper wants to parasitic bomb him, but it's his only anti-air. You guys have heard my thoughts on Viper anti-air. Viper anti-air is like using a musket to try and shoot down an AC-130. You know, like the big old flying fortress, and you're like, you know what? If I stand on this mountain and I line it up when it's doing a low pass, my musket still is not going to be able to do anything to it. It just the Viper, it just slowly tickles the air unit. It never kills them. It never kills them, or so rarely. And a single Viper especially is going to struggle. Triple medevac, drop on the right. Big Marine Marauder drop with a few Vikings on the left, cleaning up the Overlords. Clem's playing so cautiously. Isn't this just the new Clem, guys? He's so confident when his opponent does cheeky stuff. He just switches modes. He's like, yeah, just don't die to dumb stuff. I just leave all my tanks at home, only move out with Marine medevac because I know Zerg never has any anti-air to actually punish this move. Just roam them out. Finally, he goes for the maxed out push, guys. Check it out. 10 tanks, 4 Vikings, 3 Ghosts, 36 Marines, and 3 Marauders. 14 Ravages, 22 Banes, 2 Ultras, a Viper, 11 Roaches, 45 Zerglings. This army is simply better for Terran. The Ravages are not a good unit in the long term. They can control space, but they're 3 supply each, and their stats just do not justify that supply cost. Nice stem forward here. Another parasitic bomb lands. This one on the Viking. Gonna get a bit of damage there before Clem splits. Big army on the left. On siege of the tanks. Oh, Clem was not expecting that. Big mistake for Clem. Rogue pounces. Great move for Rogue. This was going to be the best angle he could possibly get. And yet those tanks are still taking a while to fall down. That Ultra in the north doing pretty well. He's actually getting a decent clear up of the tanks. And he's got to pull back to remax. Gets a few medevacs as well with the Biles on the way out. 2 Vipers ready. But Clem, he of course knows there's a window before the remax is ready. I feel like Clem should probably run home to ensure that he can survive. He's building tanks 2 at a time. Marine Marauder will deny the 5th base of the Zerg. Hatchery goes down. Zergling's going to move across the left for a counter. 2 tanks in the far back, continuing to attack. Clem has 0 fear, 0 respect right now. Tanks are here sieging up. Zergling's getting on top, going to clear a few of these tanks. Clem answers fire with fire of his own. He runs forward with the bio. The Ravagers, the Vipers running forward. The Vikings take out a high-energy Viper. Very nice move. Another Viper's going to go down. He misses the transfuse, lands it on the Ultra. He meant to click that on the Viper. Parasitic Bomb finally gets some good damage off on these air units, but this is a very expensive trade with the Vipers falling. And look at that bio stutter step. Flawless stutter step there for Clem's bio. Picks up at the last second, pulls back. Units lost tab is still 5,000 in favor of Clem. More tanks are getting taken down. The Ultra Ravager is on the warpath, chasing Clem back to his side of the map. But Clem's still up in army supply, and he's ahead in worker supply. Rogue is on 71 workers on 4 base economy. He's not taken a 5th. He's only now rebuilding that 5th base. No 6th base. And he's on 113 against 3 upgrades. Plus 2 vehicle weapons also done for the siege tanks, which means they're going from 70 to now 80 damage per shot from these tanks. Ultra, of course, what is it? 500 life at max, I think? Yeah, 500 for a maxed Ultra. Oh, here we go. Bio Ghost trying to get a good trade-off. The lack of anti-air just allows Clem to be so unafraid. As Bios runs up, shoots to the last second, picks up, flies away. He just rinses and repeats that over and over. He's got a 5th base up and mining. It's a disaster for Rogue. He's going to go Corruptors now. Spire just now starting. 68 workers against 78 SCVs. And if this fight doesn't go well, Rogue is going to be dead in the water. Biling down a couple of the Liberators here. Does bile his own guy a little bit and only gets one of the Liberators down. Army on the right runs in. Cannot get through the choke point. The Ultras have to waddle away. So much Zerg going down. Finally gets another Lib. The units lost tab 8,000 in favor of Clem. Rogue knows he's too far behind. Cute idea for Rogue in this game, but it's so hard to break this natural. And I do think Rogue overcommitted a little bit to it. I wouldn't have minded him poking forward, being a bit aggressive, and being a bit more quick on the dropping creep. I want to see him drop creep, and really just focus on dropping creep while threatening with like 5 Ravages, 10 Roaches. But he went 7 Ravages, and he keeps building Roaches. You know, 7 Ravages, 10 plus Roaches. If he starts droning while denying the 3rd and just keeping Clem back, I think there's a chance to get ahead. But I think he was just a bit too committed. And Clem did a really good job of staying safe while securing a quick third at the same time. A lot of Terrans would have camped on 2 base for a bit longer, but Clem gets out there, and that's part of why Rogue felt like he had to stay stuck making Roach Ravager and couldn't transition. But I think the cherry on top of the cake for Clem was this first hold. This attack angle is really bad into these tanks. These tanks are layered back. The Marines in good position. You can see the Roach Ravager just can't get anywhere near the siege tanks. And it's like you're in the perfect spot for Clem to fight. The tanks are shooting, but you can't shoot the tanks. The Marines have room to start a step back. The SCVs can tank. And I mean, Clem felt so bad for Rogue there that look at the tail end of this fight. I didn't notice this the first time. He pushes him back. Look at this. Look, watch closely. And he kills his own SCV. He says, I don't like the look of you. He just shot his own SCV. Dude, Clem has to kill more of his own units than any other player in the world. If anyone knows of a player who kills more of his own units than Clem with accidental A-clicks, you let me know. I think Clem has to be the best player in the world who pretty much every game kills at least one of his own units. GG, well played, though. He gets the 2-1. I like the way Rogue tried some different strategies here, tried some clever stuff, and this looked very Cyril-inspired, what he did this game. So really cool to see him, you know, getting that big ultra corruptor Ling Bane win in game 2 as well. Great series. GG, well played.